The following is a presentation of iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
Live from NASCAR's home in the Northeast, LSRTV is here to bring you live coverage of the Visit Delaware 200 for the USR BNC Lawns and Landscaping Truck Series. I'm Gabriel Wood, alongside me, Kelly Dahl and Cisco Scaramuza down in the production hall are getting the picture you see to you tonight. We're live here at Dover, and what better nickname is the Monster for a racetrack like this? A mile track with high banking. It's going to be high speeds and high casualties. Kelly, one of the most challenging tracks on the NASCAR calendar. What's your expectations for tonight?
I'm expecting a lot of trucks to have some right side damage by the end of this night. This is an extremely difficult track, maybe because of its shape and because of what it's made of. Most tracks are an asphalt surface. However, this is one of the two tracks, Bristol being the other one, that's got a concrete racing surface, and it doesn't quite give you the same amount of grip, and with the way this track is shaped, you don't have that tri-oval to help you get into the corner or out of the corner. It's a very square exit each time, so it can really catch you by surprise as you get on the throttle trying to get out of that corner, and you might find yourself in that wall pretty easily, so I expect that to happen quite a bit tonight.
Well, we're 10 rounds in after tonight of the 2017 season, and right now Jamie Walker is leading your points by 19 over Scott Simley. Aaron Bennett right behind him and 21 points back. Jamie Walker starting off this year just like he ended last year with no wins, but he is still the most consistent driver on the circuit. So, Kelly, do you think he can win another championship like this, or is he going to have to get a win with this sort of competition?
I think he'll eventually get himself a win. I don't think he's going to need it. He's been running very consistent, and he did the exact same the year after. But I kind of find it funny. Our top three in points are all winless drivers. So it really shows that these guys are extremely consistent week in, week out. I mean, of the 9 races, Jamie's been top 5 in 3 of them, top 10 in 7 of them. So you expect him to be running up near the front for the rest of this season.
Your first driver with a win is Greg Mall. He's won 2 races here on the 2017 season with 3 top 5s and 5 top 10s. He's got an average finish of 12.3, so he's got those wins, but those DNFs and bad finishes are starting to cost him. So you're going to have to be very consistent to beat drivers like Jamie Walker and Scott Simley. Right behind him, Justin Michael has technically 2 wins on the year. He's got 1 registered win with a real mess-up at Phoenix. But, Kelly, back here at Dover, it's going to be a whole new ball game. Drivers, we don't really have that many real ovals on the NASCAR schedule. You have here, you have Martinsville, and you basically have Homestead at the end of the year. So tracks like this, they're kind of few and far between, and you can see new guys come to the forefront.
Yeah, and it's great how unique each one of those are. I mean, you did name those 3 tracks off, but you put them on a map side by side, and you could easily be able to name off which one is which. I mean, Homestead's much wider and much easier on the corners. You know, Martinsville is a paperclip, extremely flat, and Dover is high banked but extremely narrow. So it is a short track, and we are going to see a bit of the short track mentality coming out. I think there's only one real line around this track, so I think especially near the end of this race, we're going to see a few bump and runs get on, and these guys might scrap it out for that win.
Well, the last race was the BNC Lawn and Landscaping 300 live from Charlotte. It's 200 laps at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Dwayne Dunn, the number 39, came away with the win. He had 1 lap led the entire night. He beat Ashton Crowder by 19 seconds over the rest of the field. Ashton Crowder led 86 laps that night and was the fastest car on the racetrack, but did not get the win. So he's going to be looking for just a little bit of redemption here at Dover.
Yeah, and he's kind of, if you look at the points and ignore everything else, you wouldn't really think too much about Ashton Crowder. He's sitting 10th of the points. However, he's only got 7 starts. But of those 7 starts, he's won 2 of them and had a top 5 in 5 of them and top 10 in 6 of them. He's got an average finish of 5.7. So he's a guy that's been running up near the front. Just because he's missed a couple of those races, he's dropped down a little bit in the standings. But I'm expecting him to be up near the front for this race as well. And he could be in another one of these championship contenders at the end of the season.
Speaking of Ashton Crowder, he is your provisional pole setter as we got 3, 2, 1, and qualifying is over for tonight's race, and Ashton Crowder will get the pole. So we're going to go through your LSRTV starting grid here in just a few moments. But before that, we're going to let these guys grid. And Kelly, your final thoughts before we go get back on the racetrack.
Let's see. We've heard from a few different people that the average pit window around here will be 45 to 50 laps, depending on what their fuel is. But I doubt a lot of these guys are going to go that far. I mean, I think the tire is going to fall off way before that, so we're going to see a lot of short pitting and some interesting pit strategies come out from this.
Well, we've seen where USR, those guys are the masters of the short pit, but that's a few minutes away from now. But we're going to get your LSR TV starting grid. Ashton Crowder does get the pole in that number 27 on the inside row. Jamie Walker in the number 17 Mountain Dew Chevy Silverado will start on the outside of him. Aaron Bennett still winless as well on the season, and that number 3 truck will start third. Robert Gillenwater in fourth. Greg Mall will roll off in fifth. Christopher Hurlow will start in the sixth spot. Scott Howell in seventh. Seth Foudy, Bobby Terrell, and Randy Tesser round out your top 10.
Rolling off in 11th is the number 1 of Jason Jacoby. On his outside will be the 11 of Shane Hawthorne. Just behind them is Scott Formosa will be in 13th. Ralph Vandervorst will be in 14th. 15th goes to Riley Thompson. 16th we see Louis Robinette. 17th Justin Kleber. 18th Michael W. Waters. 19th, the last car to qualify, will be Jeffrey Ford. And the rest of these drivers decided to just take a provisional. In 20th we have Justin Michael.
Rounding out the rest of your field in 21st, Scott Simley in the number 68. He is high up in the points, so he's going to be looking. He may just be trying to protect those few points in the early going, see if he can miss a wreck, because that's what this track is known for. That's why they gave it the nickname The Monster. Ricky Howell in the number 18 will roll off in 22nd. Dwayne Dunn, your winner from Charlotte, will roll off from the back of the field in 23rd. George Hendricks in 24th. Michael Wyatt and Michael Warren complete 25th and 26th. And starting shotgun on the field is the number 98 of Stephen Herring.
This is definitely an interesting track. We have it measures exactly 1 mile long. I believe the corners here, let me just pull this. It's 24 degrees on the corners. The straights are actually down at 9 degrees, so the straightaways are relatively flat compared to the corners. So it's going to be definitely interesting to see if anyone can get the run off of the high side possibly and make that happen, but I doubt that the high side will have any weight tonight.
If you look throughout the race, these drivers will be going through the roller coaster of NASCAR. Coming off of turn 4, these drivers watch that bottom side dip down as they come off the corner. Ashton Crowder gets a huge start off the restart, caught everybody sleeping, and a huge 5-car length lead to start off tonight's 200-miler. As they pile off into turn number 1, Jamie Walker is going to get passed by that outside lane. He's going to fall back to third.
Yeah, Aaron Bennett read that pretty well. Jamie Walker was completely caught sleeping by that starter, and it looks like everyone's going to file down neatly into single file here. I'm not seeing too many cars that are, or trucks on the outside. Looks like the 94, he's going to be stuck on the high side. Can't quite find a way down. He's going to be able to slip down in there, but he will lose a few spots off that start.
That lap completed 0.7 of a second over 1 lap for Ashton Crowder. He will lead lap number 1 to come off turn number 2. You can see him file up that banking onto the front straightaway. Coming down off the banking into turn number 3, Ashton Crowder coming through turns 3 and 4. We got a battle for that second spot. It's not exactly brewing just yet, but Jamie Walker really wants to get back into that second position and go after the 27 Ashton Crowder.
Yeah, and look at that. He's now up to nearly a second of a lead for Ashton Crowder. He's already up to 9/10 of a second. He is off and running, doesn't want to look back just yet. And Jamie Walker, I think he's going to try to set himself up for a pass around the 3 of Aaron Bennett, but I mean, if I were in Walker's position right now, I would just quietly hang out for a little while. I'm sure this isn't going to be an extremely long green flag run. These are good drivers, but this is an extremely difficult track, so I don't expect this opening run to be exactly a full field run here.
Battle around. Looks like Bobby Terrell in the number 94. He's going to get passed for that 9th spot. I believe Scott Howell in the 20 around the outside lane. He's going to fall back a few more positions. Going to get Freight Train there on the outside lane. Looks like Randy Tesser in the number 69. Scott Formosa in the number 80 trying to go after him as well.
Just behind them, the big run from the 87 off that corner. He's going to be able to sneak down the inside of the 11, and he's also going to get the 20 as well coming through turn 2. So a great run from him. Picks up 2 spots, moves himself up into 12th place.
That's Justin Michael in the number 18 or 87 machine. He's up from the 20th spot. He was the first driver not to qualify, so he's already working his way up through the field. Right behind him, looks like the 20th Scott Howell up into the outside fence. They're almost going to be 3 wide going into 1.
56 touched the apron there. It caused a few drivers to scatter around behind. Now they are checked up 2 by 2 behind them. That looks like the 30 is going to be losing a spot off of that, and the 18 is going to barely slip underneath him. And Ricky Howell Jr. slides up the track a little bit, but doesn't quite open up a gap and big enough for the 30 of Lewis Robinette to sneak underneath. So Robinette will drop back a few places off of that.
68 of Scott Simley got around the 66 of Ralph Vandervoorts for that 18th spot a couple laps ago. So he's going to be trying to march through the field just as the number 87 of Justin Michael.
We got the 56 stuck up on the high side. The 56 is stuck on the high side now. The 68 of Scott Simley is underneath him, and he's going to be able to get around. And the 20 again, Scott Howell keeps getting caught on that high side, and that's not the place he's wanting to be. As we've seen early on in this race, that high side is definitely a lot slower than the inside line. So these guys have to be very careful to guard that inside line going into the corner. But if they come into the corner too low, through at the middle, they'll slide up, opening up a chance for that driver behind them to get underneath. So it's definitely a unique strategy on this track. You have to, you've got to pretty much gamble with the other driver who's going to go further to the inside.
Battle for the 9th spot between Randy Tester and Justin Michael. Justin Michael continuing his march up to the front. He gets around Randy Tester at 69, now into the 9th spot. Only 9 laps have been completed. It's a tale of 2 stories. Justin Michael up to 9th from 20th, and Scott Howell back to 16th from the 7th starting spot.
Justin Michael certainly isn't wasting any time here. He has just been on a warpath. If he's going to be charging this hard through the field, I don't know why he didn't just start up front in the first place, but he's already pushed himself into the top 10 from being way back in 20th, and now he's right on the door, on the rear bumper of the 94, knocking on the door, trying to see if he can find himself a way through, and he's going to look for a gap coming into this next corner here.
Top 3 have pulled away. Ashton Crowder has a 9/10 of a second lead over Aaron Bennett, and behind him Jamie Walker is about a second and a half back. Back to them, 2 seconds between Jamie Walker and Robert Gillenwater. So your top 3 class of the field. Behind them, Christopher Hurlow in that number 14. He's moved up from that 6th spot. Behind him, Seth Bowdy moved up from 8th now to 6th, going after Hurlow in the 14.
Yeah, looking back to the field, looks like, there's almost a gap for Justin Michael to get through in that 87, but gets the door slammed shut by the Bobby Terrell. Let's just talk about Ashton Crowder here for a second. He has just been holding off on that gap back to Aaron Bennett. He's been just flying out there, running 23.733 last time around compared to 23.783 from Aaron Bennett. So Aaron's kind of keeping pace with him right now.
We've reached that stage where they're just kind of equalizing, trying to run the lines that will get them to the first fuel stop, which, like we said, technically at lap number 51, around there. That's what I was told by Aaron Bennett in the number 3 before the race. But you have to think that USR, these guys are the king of the short pit. We've seen wins done by short pit all throughout the season, especially the ones that I've been in the broadcast booth, places like Texas, but we haven't seen it on the, well, I guess you could technically say the short tracks here at Dover. It's 1 mile, so it's just on the threshold between a mile or intermediate and a short track. Jamie Walker all by himself in that 3rd spot all the way back. It's now grown to 3 seconds between him and Robert Gillenwater in the number 4.
And he's nearly 3 seconds back of Ashton Crowder and 2 seconds back of Aaron Bennett. He's just kind of on his own out there, and as a driver, I mean, it's kind of relaxing a little bit to just be driving with a clear track in front and behind you. You can just kind of log some laps. It's definitely a long race. We're here for 200 laps. That's only lap 16, so I don't think he's in too much of a rush to be chasing down Ashton Crowder at this moment.
Looks like we got a little bit of a battle between Jason Jacoby and Justin Michael in the number 87. Michael has gotten around Bobby Terrell a few laps ago, it appears, and now he's going after that Domino's machine of the number 1 of Jason Jacoby. He's going to try and use that outside lane and try and diamond the corner down off the exit. You really have to treat Dover as, because it is a true oval, kind of have to treat it as 2 separate corners. I know that doesn't make much sense because it is 2 separate corners technically, but yeah, he's going to diamond up off the corner. He's going to hit the apex of the first corner. You'll see him go into turn number 1 here. He's going to hit that apron, push up the racetrack, and then try and hit that apron yet again and get that good run. And he's really the master I've seen at it so far. He's got a good run coming off of turn number 2. He might be able to get him in the next few laps.
Yeah, he's got a very neat and tidy line around here, but he's definitely a lot faster than the number 1 in front of him, but he just cannot find a way around. I've seen a few times he nearly rear-ended the one of Jason Jacoby, so he just needs to find himself a lap. He's faster than Jacoby, but Jacoby's running a very defensive line and not leaving any sort of gap for the 87, so Justin Michael definitely has to be patient, wait for his moment, because if he tries to force this issue, we might get our first caution of the night.
Have to wait and see. He's really working his way up through the field. He's never had much competition the past few laps. As I say that, he's going for the move in turn number 1 here on lap number 20. So in 20 laps, Justin Michael has gone from 20th to 7th. He is on the march to the front, but it's going to get harder. It's going to be an uphill battle for that number 87 because he's now facing tougher competition.
That was a fantastic move going into turn 1 there. I just have to say that. He pretty much made his intentions clear very early going down that back straight. I think they weren't even across the start-finish line when he dropped down to that inside line, showing the number 1 that, hey, this is where I'm going to go for it. And, I mean, he didn't give up too much of a fight, but I think Jason Jacoby expected him to wash up the track a lot more diving in from that low on the track, but he kept that thing real tight to the line and was able to actually get right back onto his normal racing line and still diamond that corner pretty well. So I'm expecting Justin Michael to be get up to this top 5, especially if we get another a yellow and bunch up the field.
Battle around the 15th spot. The number 11 of Shane Hawther had 15th. Now he's back to the 18th spot. Everybody he got stuck on that outside lane. The 68 of Scott Simley, we were following along. He was able to get to the inside, and there were 3 cars behind him, and it just did not make it easy on that number 11 Jegs machine coming off the corner. And now he's going to be in the sights of Justin Kleber in the number 93. That's Speed Energy Chevy Silverado.
And up through the field, a battle for 9 starting to shape up between Bobby Terrell and Scott Formosa. You're just about 0.2 of a second off of each other. They were running a little closer a couple laps ago, but it seems like Scott Formosa is not quite happy with just the top 10. He wants to keep himself moving up there, so we'll have to see which one of these guys will have that faster line. It's looking like Bobby might have, as we noticed at the Justin Michaels line, he's kind of diamonding it pretty well as well here, but he's getting a bit cleaner off of the corner compared to the 80 of Scott Formosa, who's going off of turn 2 and 4 a little higher.
Back through the field, not many battles I'm seeing, so it's really kind of settled down here. And this is one thing. I mean, USR has been really the only league that we've seen this year go caution-free, and they've done it twice, I believe, actually. Haven't they this year? I believe at Vegas and at Texas, or maybe my memory served me wrong. Or no, excuse me, that was the USR series, or the RSR series. But they did go caution-free at Texas, so these guys have the ability to race clean, and this is what we're going to get because they are now single file, not racing anybody. We may be in for 200 laps of green flag running.
However, Ashton Crowder's now starting to catch up to lap traffic, so it's going to be interesting to see how the field deals with the lap trucks down here. He's going to quickly get around Stephen Herring without much of an issue here. So these guys are very respectful to one another. They will give each other a lot of room, but if a battle seems to shape up around a lap car, things could be quite interesting. But I may end up eating my words. I said there wasn't going to be this first run probably wasn't going to go green. We're going to get a yellow before the fuel ran out, but looks like they might just in fact go green for a good stretch of a time.
Looks like back to the field battle for that 6th spot is Justin Michael continuing as Mark through the front has now caught the 22 of Seth Foudy for that 6th spot, and right in front of them Christopher Hurlow. So we're still halfway through this run, and Justin Michael has not slowed down one bit, Kelly. This is surprising. And these guys, if they have spotters, the front 2 drivers, they may have to start warning their drivers, Aaron Bennett, Ashton Crowder, Jamie Walker, about this 87 because he seems like the fastest car on the racetrack through traffic.
Yeah, he's certainly managing his tires very well. It looks like he's just in general faster than everyone else, but he didn't quite get a good run off that corner. And now the number 1, Jason Jacoby, he's going to get himself back into it. It's now looking like the Justin Michael's getting a little sloppy here. We saw in that last corner he slid a little wide compared to his normal line, so maybe his tires might be falling off, and yeah, he's definitely not touching that apron anymore. So he's running a bit wider, and now he's got the number 1 right on his bumper, just inches separating them, and looks like the one is going to just hold off, not going to quite make a move just yet, but Justin Michael, he's been the one passing everyone, but he, for the first time tonight, might get past himself.
if it shows how fast that 87 has been, he just ran just as fast as the leaders the last couple laps. The leaders have been running 24.5s. He just ran at 24.4. So he's coming up through the field. When I talk about Aaron Bennett, he's catching, I should say, Ashton Crowder for that lead. He's caught it down by about 0.3 of a second as Ashton has reached these lap traffic. But now, as Ashton gets past a few of these back markers, he has now extended it to a 1.1 second lead. Looks like we got a battle for Jason Jacoby. Has gotten around the 87 of Justin Michael for that 7th spot. And that's going to move. That's the first time I do believe Justin Michael's been passed in the 32 laps we've had so far.
Yeah, and hopefully he doesn't let that get to him here and get into his head. He better just give his head a shake, clear it out, and get himself back onto his line, because as I've been watching him these last few laps, it's definitely a lot different than when we looked at him earlier. He's not running as tight to the line on his corner entry and exit, especially in the middle of the corner. He's getting a lot higher up the track, and he's not getting that speed off the corner. He's got the 94 now right behind him, is the one of Jason Jacoby. He's now starting to get up to Seth Foudy, so we've got ourselves a good four-way battle shaping up here.
Well, let's talk about real quick as these guys are maybe getting ready to spark it up just a little bit. Louis Robinette and 68 Scott Simley, they've been battling for the past couple laps, and now that's allowed Randy Tesser in the 15th spot to get around or get to him. So we have a little battle brewing there as well. But yeah, between the 22 of Seth Foudy, Jason Jacoby, Justin Michael, and Bobby Terrell, these guys, you could throw them under a blanket as Bobby Terrell gets around the 87, as you said just a second ago. Moves that muscle milk number 94 to that 8th spot. He's now going to go after Seth Foudy. And Aaron Bennett, he's continuing. I thought, Ashton Crowder was getting caught just because of lap traffic, but we're now seeing he's caught it down to under 1 second between Aaron Bennett and Ashton Crowder, so we may have a battle for the lead. But we have 20 laps or so till green flag pit stop, so Aaron Bennett may run out of time.
Yeah, but he is still running slightly faster than Ashton Crowder. Ashton Crowder there on that last time was a 24.716. Aaron Bennett 24.669. So he is slowly bringing that gap smaller and smaller. But so we may in fact see possibly a battle shape up here before the green flag. But I think that he's going to run out of time. I think we're going to get our green flag stops before we get ourselves an on-track battle between these front two.
I want to go back to that battle between Jacoby, Seth Foudy. Seth Foudy's actually been passed by the number 1 of Jason Jacoby. He's going after Christopher Hurlow now, and Hurlow running down Robert Gillenwater. So we may have another battle brewing between these two guys, and the number 94 of Bobby Terrell. He's caught Seth Foudy, so he's going to try and get to that buck bumper here in the next few laps.
Yeah, he's closed up that gap a lot here. He's getting even closer to the corners, and looking right behind him, Justin Michael, he's encountering a ton of issues right now. Had a terrible corner going through 1 and 2, and that has left him open for Scott Formosa, the 80, and now the 80 will botch the corner. He's going to run a little wide, but he kind of recovers, able to get a good run off of the corner, but can't quite make the pass happen. So the 87, he was just charging through the field, but looks like he might have burned off those tires, and now he's in a bit of trouble here.
Ashton Crowder catching a few more lap cars, and now it's a little bit thicker, because now you have George Hendricks, Dwayne Dunn, your winner from Charlotte. They're now being caught at the tail end of the field, and that's going to spell doom for this lead between Ashton Crowder and Aaron Bennett, because it was 8.5 tenths the last time by, now 8 tenths flat that time by, so that gap's coming down before he even has to face this lap traffic. So if these guys between the 39 and the 34 give him any trouble, we'll have a battle for the lead.
Yeah, but I doubt that we're going to see these lap traffic give them much trouble. As I said, these guys are very clean, very respectful. They will give each other room. So if Ashton Crowder just makes his intentions clear, and hopefully these lap traffic will give them the inside and just stick to the high line. It's definitely one of the easier tracks to let people by on. If you just stick to the high side, they'll go flying right by you on the inside. So Ashton Crowder doing a bit of recovery there. He did open up the gap to Aaron Bennett back up to 9 tenths that time by. So Ashton Crowder still has some speed left in him.
It's like Aaron Bennett short pinning coming to pit road 10 laps early. So he will be the first of your lead lap drivers to come down to pit road. Looks like Randy Tesser in the 69 came down as well. So we're going to have your first batch of green flag pit stop. This is going to be interesting because Ashton Crowder, is he going to call an audible here in the next few laps and come down pit road? Or is he going to stay out and use the better tires later in the run? Because Aaron Bennett, he's going to maybe get this lead, because I think we've seen about a full second drop-off between qualifying and we've seen a second and a half drop off, I should say,
Yeah, I'm
between
looking
qualifying.
at
And these guys. So if he short pits like he is now, and he uses those good tires, he's going to have a lead of a few seconds.
Yeah, I'm looking at the times right now. On lap 3, Aaron Bennett ran his fastest lap, 23.342. In the lap just before he pitted, on lap 40, he ran a 24.995. So that is a huge difference between fresh tires and old tires. And as he comes back out, he's got the 69 right in front of him, and it's going to get a little messy as the field rolls by them. So these guys are all mixed up, trying to find themselves a spot on track to get racing. And as we see the fresh tires against the old tires, the 3 just rockets by the rest of the field that's been kind of bunched up behind them.
And Aaron Bennett, you have to remember, he is 1 lap down. Randy Tesser is 2 laps down. So technically he is a lap car to Aaron Bennett in the 3. It's like Crowder coming to the pits now. So we're going to have to wait and see what kind of lead Aaron Bennett is going to have, if he does. Because he did get held up by a few cars there on the entry. Jamie Walker in the 17 now takes your lead. That's going to put Jason Jacoby in that number 1 to the 2nd spot.
And Jamie Walker's looking like he's going to keep going, hasn't decided to pit just yet, so it's going to be interesting to see how these different strategies are going to shape up. I think it's going to be a bit of an advantage to Ashton Crowder and possibly even the 3, but I don't know. We'll have to see where Crowder comes out. And there goes the 3 right by Crowder, so it will be the 3 of Aaron Bennett. He will be coming out way ahead of the 21. He's nearly into turn 3 before Aaron Bennett's even on the track. Or sorry, Ashton Crowder's even on the track.
Now, one thing you're going to have to watch out for, these guys do not want a caution. They're going to be trapped a lap down. They're going to have to take the wave around, and they will not be able to pit, and they will start behind the lead lap drivers. So they want it to remain clean and green. Jamie Walker hoping for a caution. That means he will stay in that lead after the pit stop. So he's going to come into turn number 1. Will he pit this time by? We're waiting for the signal to hand out the window to signify to everybody behind him he is coming to pit road. And Jason Jacoby, he's actually shown he's a little bit faster. It's 4 seconds between the 2, and it's now 3.6. So Jamie Walker, is he coming to pit road this time by? Nope.
No, he's going to stay out. He's
still
going to
bypass it. He's going to bypass it another time. So maybe he's trying to run a full fuel run and hope for a caution. And even if he doesn't get it, take advantage of the new tires.
Yeah, that is another thing. If you do pit later, you do get to have fresher tires later on when the other guys are starting to burn off a little bit. So it's definitely, there's advantages and disadvantages that the whole field starts to bunch up behind them here. There's cars nearly going 3 wide right behind Jamie Walker, and now he's going to get passed by a car that's previously pitted, I believe.
2 wide behind him, Robert Gillenwater and Dwayne Dunn. They're getting a little fight there as Gillenwater comes on the bottom side of the racetrack in that number 4. Looks like we got a caution on the speedway. Ashton Crowder gets spun.
Crowder has gone around. I'm going to try to see what just happened there, but looks like our...
Ashton Crowder and Ricky Howell Jr. in turn number 3. We're going to get the replay up for you.
Yeah, I'm watching that now. Ashton Crowder, he's going to have a small amount of damage. Also some damage to the 69, I believe, for hitting the wall. But it seems like as they go into the corner, the Ricky Howell Jr. just kind of pushes up the track a little bit, and he has Ashton Crowder to his outside and just turns that thing right around, clips him in the left rear quarter panel. Doesn't look there's...
That was old tires versus new tires. Ricky Howell Jr. was still on the racetrack, so he was one of your final drivers who did not pit. And this is exactly what Aaron Bennett did not want to see. I mean, he did get to see Ashton Crowder get spun, so it kind of solidly puts him the first of the guys on new tires. But you've got 7 or 8 cars on the lead lap that are going to pit now and be in front of you for the restart.
You can't completely count Ashton Crowder out just yet, though. I did take a look at his truck. He doesn't have very much damage. I believe he is going to come down pit road this time. And actually, no, he's going to fake it and head back out. But wouldn't be surprised if he does clean up that truck a little bit. Doesn't look like he's got a heavy amount of damage. It is kind of a short track, so you don't have to worry about the aerodynamics all that much compared to, say, like maybe Michigan or one of the super speedways. But it's still going to affect him a little bit. Maybe he'll be slightly slower, but as we saw earlier, he's definitely got a lot more speed over everyone else. So this might bring him a bit closer to the rest of the field.
All right, we're going to get the results stacked up and try and re-rack them here. We got a little bit of a jumbled up running order. We're going to go to commercial real quick and be right back here from Dover Downs, Dover, Delaware at the Dover International Speedway for the USR Truck Series here on LSRTV. Back here live, Dover International Speedway. Jamie Walker is your leader. Comes off pit road in the number 1 position. Jason Jacoby behind him. Greg Mall in 3rd. We just had our first caution. Ashton Crowder, who has led basically the entire event, ended up getting spun out by one of the drivers. Pretty much no damage, except for a little bit of left rear on that number 27 Chevy Silverado. So he's going to get it repaired later in the event, but right now he's still on the lead lap, along with Aaron Bennett, Seth Fowdy, and Christopher Hurlow. They all took the wave around, and they're going to be your first drivers off the lead lap. And they're going to be in front of the pace car. They're going to get the wave around this time. Bye.
Right now, the field is completely jumbled up. There's some drivers that are now out in the final. On the lead lap because of that car. Leave the caution once more.
Sorry for that little bit of technical difficulties and kind of coincided. Looks like the running order not what it needed to be, and so the admins have thrown the caution. But a little bit of audio issues on our end. We've got that fixed now. Cisco doing a great job. He's doing what they pay him for. So Jamie Walker will be your leader for this restart. We should get the lights out this time by. I'm not sure what the confusion was on the running order. Maybe just a few drivers not realizing where they needed to be for the restart.
I think it might have been the drivers that got the wave around just weren't quite going to be able to catch the rest of the field by the time they caught up. So that's a good heads up from the stewards to throw that caution, wave them around one more time, make sure everyone's all stacked up and ready to go. But as I was trying to say when we had those audio issues, we've only got 11 trucks actually on the lead lap. The rest of them are, we got another, I believe, 10 drivers, 1 lap down, another 4 or 5 2 laps down. So it's going to be definitely interesting how many trucks we're going to have in the lead lap by the end of the night.
Already past a quarter distance in tonight's event, and we've only had 1 caution, so hopefully we keep on that pace. It's like Jason Jacoby lining up in a weird position. It's a little bit of interesting order. Looks like we're doing a Delaware double file restart. The leader's all by himself up front.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I think they might get to choose which lane they want to do, but I think
and look
Jamie
at this,
might be better
look
off.
At this back in the field. Back in the field, everybody that's off the lead lap is now way back in the field. Like they just had a huge jumble up for the drivers off the lead lap. So confusing running order here, but we're gonna get the restart. Looks like everybody's starting to catch up now. Looks like, I mean, the 68, Scott Simley and other drivers, they were just not ready. We're going green now, but it's a weird set of circumstances there it caused by the drivers being in the middle of it. And we're going to get the caution. So, yeah, I knew that was coming.
Yeah, as soon as we started talking about that, everyone was jumbled up, we knew that this was going to be a confusing start. So somewhere in the field, we've had someone go around, and I'm trying to find it. I'm not seeing. Oh, someone just hit the wall under yellow, and he just got T-boned. I'm trying to find out who it is. We got a big mess on the back straight.
Looks like the 68 of Ralph Vandervoort, in number 66, I should say. They were checking up, and I guess it happened again because.
Yeah, it looks like the 66 under caution was checking up. He got rear-ended. The 3 has been caught up in it. The 27's caught up in it. There's a lot of damage down under yellow. I don't know what happened on that.
Looks like drivers just were not ready, to check up for everybody coming around, and that is unfortunate, especially for drivers like Aaron Bennett.
Yeah, it looks like the 3 got caught up pretty hard in that. Oh yeah, I'm watching that again. A big slam to the front end of the number 3. So that's definitely not something the guys in that camp wanted to happen. There's a lot of damage to the left front of that truck.
So if you're Jamie Walker, you've got to be smiling because 2 of your competition have been mired outside the top 5, and this is going to be your opportunity, if we go green flag, to be out in front of the field. Because he's consistently shown that he is the 3rd fastest driver. He's been out by about 3 seconds in front of 4th, so he's shown he's a very quick driver, especially here at Dover.
Yeah, he does have a lot of speed, just wasn't quite fast enough, or possibly could have been holding up against the other 2 drivers. Is not showing his full speed just yet, but he doesn't have to worry about those 2 now. They've just been caught up in a couple of wrecks. They've got some damage to their trucks, so the new favorite for this race is the 17 of Jamie Walker, and it's definitely some
The 27 Aston Crowder looks like taking advantage, coming to pit road and getting the damage fixed on that truck. So he's going to fall off outside the top 10 with the rest of these drivers. Looks like Aaron Bennett also on pit road. Ricky Howell Jr. in the number 18 coming off of pit road.
Oh, our running order for the top 5: Jamie Walker, Jason Jacoby, Greg Mall, Michael W. Waters, and then Bobby Terrell. And we're going to have a few drivers back in the field. They're going to duck down pit road now and get some service done. These are the lap down trucks. It's just getting some service done now. So we're going to keep going around here. We've still got a few more laps before we go green. Looks like yeah, we're still gonna, I think, 2 to go before we get back underway. So it's gonna be interesting to see how Jamie Walker is gonna take the race from here on out. Jason Jacoby might try to push himself right off the bat, try to get that position right away, or he can lay back a little bit. But we'll have to see how this shapes up when we get the green once again.
Ashton Crowder, LSRTV booth. You got a copy?
I do.
All right, Ashton, you're the cause for the last caution. You could probably say you're the cause for all this confusion, but you just came down pit road and got all your damage fixed. You're now in that 10th spot. Do you think you still got a chance to win this thing? I mean, we've had the 3rd fastest driver all night. Jamie Walker is out front now.
I don't know if I can win this thing from 10th, just from how hard it is to pass here, but I think we have a pretty good chance to at least get a top 5, decent finish, hopefully get a good points night, but after what happened there in turns 3 and 4, it's going to be really tough.
Now, how does the car feel after that happened?
We have a little bit of aero damage. Still got about approximately 20 seconds left of damage to fix, but a little bit down on power, but should be able to keep a little bit of speed here and gain some positions.
All right, Ashton, well, good luck. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you, sir.
That was Ashton Crowder, driver of the number 27, starting in that number 10 spot. He's going to restart in that 10 spot outside the person who put us in this position, Ricky Howell Jr. in the number 18. Funny how things work out. But Jamie Walker will be your leader off this restart. We should go green. Looks like nobody's wrecking back in the pack, so now we are good. Jason Jacoby will start on the first row outside. Greg Mull in 3rd, as you said. Michael Waters in 4th. And Bobby Terrell will round out your top 5.
Yeah, I find it funny we talk about how clean these drivers are, then they wreck under yellow, but just the way the Monster Mile is, just kind of showing its teeth a little bit here. But we'll have to see how well these guys are going to be able to run from here on out. Cautions breed cautions. We're going to go 2 by 2 this time around. We'll see what happens when they go green.
Ford Mustang pace car is going to pull off a pit road, and this time it will stay there. Jamie Walker's going to get a good restart off. The same thing that happened to Ashton Crowder. Looks like we got a checkup between, looks like, the 28 and the 22. But Jamie Walker will get a good restart. That's going to put Greg Mall into that 2nd spot. And Jason Jacoby to the back bumper in turns number 1 and 2. He's going to try and use the bump and run off the restart.
We had 3 wide back in the field. Ashton Crowder tried to gun it up the middle, backing out at the last moment. But it was definitely a hectic start. Looking at the field now, Greg Mall, he's right behind Jamie Walker, but Jamie's starting to open up a bit of a gap, and he's also still have to worry. Greg does have to worry about the number 1, who's right back on him, trying to see if he can get his spot position back.
Jamie Walker still in the lead by 1.5 tenths. Greg Mall in that 2nd spot. Jason Jacoby in that number 1 in the 3rd spot. So Ashton Crowder trying to march his way up the field. He's actually lost a spot in that number 27, and he's now behind. He's now gotten in front. He was 11th last time by, now picked up 2 positions, going after position another one. Here, looks like Scott Simley, the number 68. He is a lap down, but now Ashton Crowder up to the 9th spot. Next car in front of him is Justin Michael in the 87.
And the 87 is not the truck that's directly in front of him. He is a few truck lengths ahead. He's now actually going to the inside of Ricky Howell Jr. He's going to try to get himself up into 7th place, and it looks like he will easily do so. And now he's also right on the bumper of Michael W. Waters. He's going to duck to the inside, and he's going to try and get himself 2 positions on this lap.
And tough break for Aaron Bennett. He's still on pit road, 6 laps down getting that damage repaired. So what seemed like a promising night in that 2nd spot will end in heartbreak early before halfway.
Yeah, he is out of that truck, and I don't suspect he'd be too happy with the conditions in which his race ended tonight. So I think because of that heavy front impact he had, he might have damaged that engine. So that might be the end of his night there.
Looks like we got a battle for second brewing between the 12 and the 1 for that second spot. Greg Mall in that Miller Lite Chevy Silverado, and Jason Jacoby in that Domino's Toyota Tundra going after it for the runner-up position. Right behind them, if they start racing, that's going to put Bobby Terrell and Christopher Hurlow, who was in 5th, having another good run here in the Truck Series. It's going to put him into position.
Yeah, I think what's on the 94's mind, he's just sitting there wanting the one to make a pass here, but Jason Jacoby, he's just looking for his gap. He's going to look at there right there as Greg Mall botches the corner. He's way out the track, up near the wall, and he's going to give up the second place to Jason Jacoby. So move Jacoby up to the second place, and looking just behind them, Christopher Hurlow, he's putting a lot of pressure on that 94. He's right on the rear bumper, so he's going to try to make a move, but they've got to watch out because that 87, we've seen him many times tonight making moves, and he's now got himself up to 6th place.
Justin Michael lurking. Here comes Hurlow to the back bumper of Bobby Terrell through turns 1 and 2. And off the corner, here he goes. He's going to pull to the inside lane, maybe. Ashton Crowder getting loose in the background. He came off of turn number 2, but he's able to hang on to it back to Hurlow and Bobby Terrell and Justin Michael. Still a single file battle for that 5th spot. For that 4th spot, I should say. And meanwhile, Jamie Walker and that number 17 pulling away here on lap number 69. Closing in on halfway already.
Yeah, he's 6/10, but here comes Christopher Hurlow. He's moved to the inside of Bobby Terrell, but can't quite make the move. 87, he's going to try the outside. And we're nearly going 3 wide here, and he's going to get actually a great run because the 14 had to check up. So Justin Michael, he'll get the position at the line, but I don't know if he'll be able to hold it because we've seen that outside line doesn't quite have the speed, but he's going to try to make me eat my words. He is putting a lot of pressure on that outside. I don't think we've ever seen someone put up this much of a fight in the outside line. He might actually get this position here. Can't quite get clear, but now they're starting to catch up to the 94, who might throw a wrench into this battle.
The one thing that helps that 87 is that 14 to run a good fast lap. He has to use that whole racetrack, and he has to run it up towards the wall. And that's 87 of Justin Michael. He's pinning that number 14 of Hurlow down to the bottom side, and he's able to get clear by the time they turn into turns number 3. And now he's going to set his sights on the 94, Bobby Terrell.
I think that's the first time tonight we've actually seen someone make the pass on the outside due to actually having a great line, not just having fresher tires. And now it looks like he might have even just given a shot to the 94 there. There's a little bit of the chrome horn letting him know that he's there, but he doesn't quite get a good launch off the corner. That might give the 14 a chance, but he's going to back off before going into turn number 3. And again, then 87 right up to the bumper. He's going to give him another tap.
Bobby Terrell doing all he can, hands moving back and forth inside that car, that truck I should say, trying to hang on to it. It looks like Justin Michael, he doesn't really have a choice on hitting the back bumper of him because he runs so much faster on the entry that the 94 just cannot keep up, and the 87 slams into him. Here they come. 94 is going to push up the racetrack. Can the 87 cut below him here off of turn number 4?
Can't quite get him. He's going to stay stuck behind him, but the second the 94 makes a mistake, he's going to get jumped by the 87, and there was another chance there. He just ran wide as well. I think he's focusing too much on the rear bumper of that 94 and not on his own line. I mean, it's a thing that happens quite often. He just ended up making the same mistake, but this time he won't. He's got himself completely focused on his line, and he's going to easily make a move around the 94. But he's going to, the 94 nearly getting the wall, but hasn't quite given up the spot just yet, and there he is in the 14. He's going to hit him. And what a save by Bobby Terrell.
Onto it. Oh my gosh.
I thought we had a truck going around there. The 14, now he's going to move to the inside, and this time going to pass him clean. The 94 might get another spot taken away from the 18. He's actually going to drop down in front and cut that line off, but a great save by Bobby Terrell. That could have been the end of his night right there.
Yeah, it looks like Christopher Hurlow just trying to get a little too much there at turn number 1, and he almost ended it. Both their nights, really, coming into turn number 1, but they end up working their way through it. Meanwhile, all this is happening. Jamie Walker is out to about a 1.2 second lead over Jason Jacoby in the number 1. And Justin Michael, he's caught Greg Mall, and he's now going for that 3rd spot.
And he's going to dive hard down to the corner, and Greg Mall is just going to let him go, run way up the track, and not bother fighting because they've got themselves a decent gap back to 5th place. But so he doesn't want to give that up at the moment. So the 87 now, he's still making moves, and he's going to try to get the 1 now, get the second place. It almost looked like he was going to go for the outside coming off of turn 4, but he's going to back out there and try to set himself up for another move.
Jason Jacoby now under threat from Justin Michael, your winner from Phoenix, and another racetrack I do believe, but I wasn't in the booth for another one of Justin Michael's wins. I know he's got 2 on the year, and now he's going after number 3, but he's got a few more cars to work his way through. Jason Jacoby under fire from him. Is he going to be able to use that same move, duck it down in turn number 1? Not going to happen this time by. Still 11 cars on the lead lap. Scott Simley, number 68. While we're updating you, he is your first driver off the lead lap, so if a caution does come out, he will be your lucky dog free pass. It's like that battle still going on. He's trying to work that outside lane. He may be getting just a little bit cocky trying to work that outside lane.
And he's got to be careful. If he drives that truck just too hard, he may burn those tires off. We saw it happen kind of at the end of the that first run. He started moving backwards pretty fast because I think his tires were completely shot, but he's definitely wanted to move himself up and put himself further ahead of the field before he does start burning those tires back and then going for his pit stop. But he's definitely going to have to be careful here because there's still a number of trucks behind him that could easily jump over him if he destroys those rubbers.
Trying to work a little bit higher lane than number 1 in front of him, and these guys racing, they're actually not getting pulled away from that much. It's been about a 10th in the past 10 laps, so these guys are pretty much equal. And I think if Justin Michael can get around Jason Jacoby and get a new set of tires after the green flag pit stops, or any pit stops that we do have, I think we could have a battle between Jamie Walker and Justin Michael.
Yeah, I think if a yellow were to come out right now and they were to bunch this field up, we definitely could have a new challenger for the lead. I think Justin Michael does have some speed behind him. May not have that speed over the long run, but over that short run, he's shown that he's insanely quick and able to just pick his spots and make some great moves throughout the field. So keep an eye on him if we get ourselves bunched up once more.
The gap between Jamie Walker and Jason Jacoby is actually coming down. It's 1.4 a few laps ago, 1.3 now. So these drivers racing single file for the moment. They're catching the lead driver. But if these guys start racing side by side, you can kiss that lead goodbye because Jamie Walker is going to be able to pull away in clean air. But he's starting to face, in a few laps, he's going to be facing some lap traffic. Battle for the 5th spot between Christopher Hurlow and Bobby Terrell. Bobby Terrell getting a little bit of payback from Hurlow almost turning him by accident. But Bobby Terrell gets around Hurlow relatively cleanly. Ashton Crowder working his way back through the field. He's in 8th going after Ricky Hill Jr. in the 18 for the 7th spot.
Yeah, we haven't seen what Ashton's had to do with other drivers at all tonight. He was running way off in the front, never had any pressure against them. So now we get to see that he's having a bit of trouble getting around these drivers. He does have some speed. Don't know how much damage there is on that truck, though. He was involved in both of those cautions. However, in a minor role, so I don't think he's got too much damage to the inside of that truck, maybe a bit of aero, but we'll have to see how that's going to affect him later on tonight.
Gap continuing to come down, 1.1, the gap between Jamie Walker and Jason Jacoby, so that gap is coming down, and it's coming down pretty fast. Looks like 56 has led around these leaders, and it got a little bit close between him and Ashton Crowder and Ricky Hall Jr. They able to work their way around him. Ashton Crowder still has that left rear damage, maybe hampering him just a little bit. We heard him, he had about 20 seconds worth of damage left to repair, but it's hard to say. Once he does get it repaired, he's also got some front end damage. That car will not drive the same, and we're seeing that right now.
Yeah, and we're seeing also the lead again shortening even more. They're now down to just a second. So you got to wonder, either Jason Jacoby and Justin Michael have found some speed and Jamie Walker's burnt those tires off, or maybe Jamie's even running a bit conservatively, as this time around they're now down to 0.897. So they're cutting down nearly a 10th per lap. So you have to wonder, is Jamie holding up and just waiting until the gap closes a little bit before he jumps back on the throttle, trying to extend his run a little bit? Or maybe Jamie's doesn't quite have that the speed over the long run, and we're not really going to find out for sure until these guys get right up behind Jamie Walker.
If he is, he's playing with fire because the gap went down by 0.2 in the past couple laps. It's now down to 0.8 of a second and 1.5, or 1.1 between him and Justin Michael. So Justin Michael is actually falling off the back bumper of the one of Jason Jacoby. I think he's kind of just letting Jason go, let him run down the leader. because they cannot run him down racing side by side, as I said a second ago. And in fourth, I want to just update you, Greg Mall. He's 2.2 seconds back in that number 12 machine, going after win number 3 on the year. But he's not going to do it from that fourth spot. Bobby Terrell working his way back through the field as well. He's in fifth, going after fourth.
Yeah, and behind them, there's a stack of 3 trucks trying to see if they can get them get around each other. Christopher Hurlow leads Ricky Howell Jr. and Ashton Crowder. Actually, he's going to back off, and he's going to be our first truck down pit road. He's also going to be followed by Riley Thompson. So we've got a few of these guys deciding to short pit now, and we'll have to see what happens. I guess the 27 of Ashton Crowder is not too scared about what happened earlier, because he did short pit, which caused him to get into this situation in the first place. But he's going to short pit once again, and we'll have to see how Jamie Walker and the rest of this field is going to react.
Well, we usually do our midway race break at halfway, which is going to be in a few laps, but with these green flag pit stops happening, we're probably going to hold that off for just a few laps until they get the green flag pit stop sorted out. So we're going to have to wait and see who's going to come down to pit road, who's going to make the move first. Jamie Walker, he was the last driver to pit. He didn't even pit under the green flag pit stops. He pitted under the caution that came out, so we shouldn't expect to see him pit anytime soon. It's now down to 0.6 of a second. The lap traffic playing havoc on that leader, Jamie Walker.
And as you see the field go around the 27 of Ashton Crowder, who's going to be on fresh tires and going to have a lot of speed. We've also got Justin Michael, who's dropped a bit back off of Jason Jacoby. He's now
almost a second.
Almost a second, yeah, behind 7/10 now behind Jason Jacoby. So I don't know if he's just cruising a little bit or if he's lost some speed once again off this long run, but he's not pressuring like he was a few laps ago.
But I think he's trying to adapt to what he's doing, because now, you know, he lost the speed about 10 laps before pit stops. Looks like the 66 is Vandervoort's up in the wall off of turn number 3. But as I was saying, it looks like Justin Michael, he's actually kind of updating himself, trying to learn, because his fall off on the first run was about 20 laps before green flag pit stop. Now he's about a few laps before pit stop, so he's getting better and better at saving his tires. He's learning, he's adapting, and that may come in handy.
And he may not have practiced long runs that much when he was getting himself prepared for this race. Might have been more focusing on those fast lines, and it's kind of paid off for him. But now that he's encountering these long runs, he's kind of found some issues. But he's definitely shown that he's a quick learner. He's definitely running a lot better than he was at the end of that previous run. And Jamie Walker now starting to reopen that gap a little bit. I don't know how much that is pure speed and how much that's this lap traffic. But Jamie Walker now is leading by 0.7 of a second last time by. But this 27 has hit this another driver. It looks like that might have been the 60.
Looks like Jeffrey Ford in the number 95.
Yeah, that was a
it's the 95
big hit.
Number 1 of Jeffrey Ford. He was trying to get out of the way, and Ashton ran down the racetrack and ended up punting that number 95. Not pretty sure that wasn't on purpose, but just kind of two drivers occupying the same space. And I feel bad for that cone getting bounced around the green commitment cone in the exit. Bounced around about half of the field before it came to rest.
But what this has caused, it looks like Jamie might have expected a wreck and checked up a little bit, because now he's got Jason Jacoby directly on his rear bumper. He is under a massive amount of pressure now, as the Jason Jacoby is now racing for that race lead.
Jason Jacoby trying to run that bottom side of the racetrack. Jamie Walker protecting it, but he's moving up just a little bit to try and get the good exit. See what's going to happen. We're going to have a battle for the lead or a pass for the lead before green flag pit stops happen. If I was the one to Jason Jacoby, I would be looking at how much fuel I have in short pit, because we saw how much Aaron Bennett was in front of Ashton Crowder during that first round of pit stops, so he would be able to make up a lot of time.
Yeah, and he definitely had to have seen how fast the 27 just took off in front of the rest of this field after his pit stop. So that's definitely going to be something on his mind at this point. It's probably a lot easier to pass in the pits than it is on the track. But look, he's going to get right on his bumper coming out of the corner there. Nearly touches him. The one is right all over the rear bumper. The 17. That thing is going to be he's going to be filling the rear view mirror of the 17 of Jamie Walker. And Jamie, I don't think he's been under this kind of pressure at all tonight, and I think if he makes any sort of mistake here, that he's going to lose the lead and maybe lose a lot of ground. Yeah, and he leaves a big gap through the middle of that corner on the bottom side. That might come back to bite him. I think Jason Jacoby's watching that and might try to make a move through there.
Looks like Randy Tesser in the 69 coming down to pit road, so we've got about 6 drivers left who have not pitted. Drivers like Christopher Hurlow, Scott Simley, and Justin Michael have all coming down to take new tires. So it's just a matter of time before the drivers come down and take new Goodyear rubbers. We are past the halfway point, but we're going to hold off, as I said, on your midway race break. We got a battle for the lead. Here comes Jason Jacoby for the lead on lap number 103, going down into the turn number 1, and the 17 puts up no fight. We got a new leader, Jason Jacoby.
He had a great run off of turn 4, but now here comes the counterattack by Jamie Walker. He had a decent run off of 2, but couldn't quite make anything happen.
Here he comes.
Decided he's going to come down the pit. So Jamie Walker, he's tapped out. He's going to come and get fresh tires, and Jason Jacoby, he's going to be left as your race leader, and you got to wonder just how long he's going to stay out there. He might come by this time, might come down this time by.
Jamie Walker almost missed pit road, almost hit that tire barrier, but he was able to woe it down and get to his pit stall. So here comes Jason Jacoby. Is he going to come down this time by? No. So he may be pulling the same strategy as Jamie Walker, wait for a caution and trap everybody a lap down. It worked for him last time, but he may not get so lucky this time.
Yeah, you got to wonder if a caution were to come out right now. We saw how hectic it was last time. Imagine how crazy it'd be this time. We've only got 6 trucks on the lead lap, and all the way from 7th to 14th, they are a lap down. And we see Jason Jacoby, he's going to go around the 20 this time, put him another lap down. So Jason, he's going to stay out even more. So looks like he might just push this thing as far as he can.
Lap number 106. You got to remember, we did have another caution after these drivers came down the pit road. Under that first caution, they, like you said, they had a real jumble up on the restart on the running order. So we had about 5 extra laps to save some fuel when they re-racked the running order. So Jason Jacoby may be able to make a few more laps than we're thinking.
Yeah, we
like
got
Greg
the
Mall
word that it was
road.
about 51 that they could do, but we'll have to see. That it does vary between each driver's style, and we'll have to see just how far he can push it. He's got to be getting near that fuel number, though.
It's like Greg Mall in second coming down to pit road. Will Seth Foudy in the number 2 position now? Will he come to pit road this time by? He will not. And Michael Waters, Seth Foudy, Jason Jacoby, the only drivers left on the racetrack. Looks like they're going to go around Bobby Terrell for the time being. But Bobby Terrell on those new tires, he will overhaul them before the come to pit stop. Looks like Jason Jacoby slowing down. He is coming to pit road. So your leader will come to the pits. That's going to leave Seth Foudy on the racetrack. Will he come down?
As he
Like
comes
the
around the
speed
corner
not
here.
coming down.
No,
Nope,
he's going to
nobody's
stay
gonna-
out. So
Seth Foudy
Weird.
will get the 1 lap lead. Jason Jacoby will come down pit road. So now we see what kind of lead does Jamie Walker have over the 1 of Jason Jacoby.
yeah, I'm watching Jason Jacoby right now, and I'm trying to see when he's going to get past. There goes Jamie Walker. So that was, I think, to get his lap back. So Jamie Walker's going to have to go around one more time to take the position away from Jason Jacoby. And Jacoby just got into his pit box as Jamie Walker went by, and so it looks like he will lose a lot of ground. He's dropped down. He's going now. I think he might have only taken right side tires there.
It's a 35-mile-an-hour pit road. Nope, the left sides were up on the number 1, so he takes 4 tires, but there goes Jamie Walker around him. That's an even bigger lead than Ashton Crowder had over Aaron Bennett.
Seth Foudy now, he's going to drop down below the white line and go into pit road, so Seth Foudy will relinquish the race lead, and I think Michael Waters will actually take it for now.
That will leave Michael Waters in the number 55 out on the racetrack, and now he's coming to pit road this time by, so that will cycle everybody else. And look who is in the lead. Ashton Crowder in the number 27 is in 3rd spot, but he is the first of the drivers on new tires. Justin Michael in 2nd, and Jamie Walker in 3rd.
So that might, it'll help him for now, but he is going to be the first of those drivers to fall off that tire cliff when he does wear those things down. But Justin Michael's now going to, as we've seen, Justin Michael's very good on those fresh tires, so we'll have to see if he can challenge Ashton Crowder at all. Ashton showed at the beginning of the race that he's insanely fast, so it'll be interesting to watch these two.
Gonna wait for everybody to cycle around and get the timing and scoring to catch up, because it's still showing Seth Foudy is your leader. He's now coming off of pit road, so we're gonna have to give it just a few more laps So Kelly, I want to ask you, impressions on the race. As you said, you were expecting it to be a few cautions in the early running. It's clean and green, only one caution.
We had 2 cautions. We had 2.
Technically.
It was kind of. There was that big wreck, but no, these guys are definitely showing a lot of skill tonight. No one's really jumping out too hard on that throttle. So we've only seen a couple trucks hit that outside wall, so they've definitely shown me that I was completely wrong at the start here. I kind of underestimated these guys. They were definitely running a great race here tonight.
All right, just a few laps ago, we crossed the halfway point, so let's take a look at your iRacing Midway Race Break, brought to you by iRacing. Racing game with professionally organized racing from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, and more. Ashton Crowder is your leader, but Justin Michael is closing. He is in second. Jamie Walker was your leader before pit stops, coming in third. Christopher Hurlow in the 4th spot. Jason Jacoby now running in that 5th spot after being the last driver, one of the last drivers to come to pit road. Greg Mall, looks like we got a battle for the lead. We're going to have to hold that off for just a second as Justin Michael going for the lead. So from 20th starting spot to the lead in 115 laps, Justin Michael is now your leader. Going back to the Midway Race Break, Greg Mall is in 6th, Bobby Terrell in 7th. Seth Foudy in number 22, he was your last driver to come to pit road. He is the last driver on the lead lap in the 18th spot. Michael Waters in the 9th spot, Scott Simley in 10th.
Sitting in 11th at the moment is Louis Robinette. In 12th, Michael Waite. In 13th, Justin Kleber. 14th, we see Dwayne Dunn. 15th sees Ralph Vander Vorst. 16th is Shane Hawther. 17th is Randy Tesser. 18th, Scott Howell. 19th, Michael Warren. And rounding out the top 20 is Jeffrey Ford.
These are the drivers you do not want to be. They've had some tough hardships, and some of them caught up in that under caution wreck. 21st, Stephen Herring, 5 laps down. 8 laps down, George Hendricks. Riley Thompson, 11 laps down. Ricky Howe Jr., 24th. Scott Formosa, 25th. Aaron Bennett, he led for a little bit, or he was in second, and he was getting ready to take the lead, but caution came out. He ends up in 26th, 59 laps down. And your last driver is the 4 of Robert Gillenwater, 60 laps down in 27th. This has been your iRacing Midway Race Break. For more information on the wide variety of sim racing possibilities online, visit iRacing.com to sign up today. You can use the LSRTV promo code by entering PR-2016 LSRTV when registering for a new iRacing membership to get the late model free of charge, along with 13 cars and 14 tracks included with your first time submission.
Yeah, Justin Michael, we've talked about him throughout the night, wanting to know what kind of speed he has, and he's definitely shown that he's was a fast driver and kind of handcuffed himself a little bit by starting in the back instead of qualifying, expecting some wrecks, but he's worked his way through the field, and he's now 1.5 seconds ahead of the 27 of Ashton Crowder, who now looks like he may be under pressure from Jamie Walker.
Yeah, Ashton Crowder, you can see what those old tires are doing. He's the first driver to come to pit road, and he got him the lead, but now it's costing him. Jamie Walker is now catching him by about 0.3 of a second a lap, and it shouldn't be long before that Jamie Walker machine in the 17 goes around for that second spot. Behind him, Christopher Hurlow, he's doing a good job. He's in that 4th spot, and he's caught the 17 of Jamie Walker, as Jamie Walker is now going to go around the 27 Ashton Crowder going into 1.
And Ashton Crowder might lose yet another position. He's got the 14 of Christopher Hurlow pressuring him now, so this is the downside of short pitting. You get that speed early on, but you are the first to lose that speed when your tires wear off. So he's lost another spot to Christopher Hurlow, so he's now down to 4th place, but he's definitely going to have to hope for either a caution or something else to help put himself back on an even playing field against these guys.
So this is interesting. This is interesting here at Dover. Like we've seen short pitting where drivers that they come in spurts. You'll see a third of the field come in first. You'll see a third of the field pit, in the middle, and you'll see another third of the field try and stretch it out. Here we've got 20 different strategies. So we're seeing drivers come up through the field. Justin Michael, he'll get caught by Jamie Walker. Ashton Crowder falling back through the field, and Jason Jacoby. It's pretty interesting here.
And it looks like Jason Jacoby's just a few seconds back of Ashton Crowder, still another 3 seconds, but he's definitely got a lot newer tires. I believe he was one of the last guys to come down pit road here, so he's still got a lot of life on those things. still. But Justin Michael, he's now up to 2.3 seconds in the lead here over Jamie Walker. And I believe Jamie might have pit a few laps before him, though.
Well, that is very interesting because that'll put Justin Michael in the lead for real, you know, barring pit stops. So he has had a monster run at the Monster Mile. Didn't even know I was making that pun, but I did. Justin Michael is your leader. Well, action's kind of lulled for just a moment as we've just exited out of pit stops, and we're going to get into the next green flag run. Only one caution technically, 2 cautions, but it's been a very clean race here from the Monster Mile at Dover International Speedway. This is the Visit Delaware 200 for the BNC Landscaping USR Truck Series. We'll be right back here on LSRTV. Back here live, Dover International Speedway in Dover, Delaware. Under 70 laps to go for the USR Truck Series. Justin Michael is your leader. This is the first time he's led all night, and a heartbreaker for Jamie Walker, 2.3 seconds back. Just when he thought the first win of the year, just when he thought he was going to get the first win of the year, he's lost the lead in the closing stages of the race. Of course, the Truck Series is sponsored and also sponsors Aaron Bennett. Is his business, the BNC Lawn and Landscaping Services LLC, based in Frankfort, Delaware. It's a home race for the crew. Check out BNC Landscaping for all your landscaping needs, including turf care, mulching, snow removal, and more. Professionally licensed and insured. Contact Aaron Bennett at BC_lawn_and_landscaping at yahoo.com. Of course, that's BNC Lawn and Landscaping LLC.
And if a home race is definitely not exactly how he expected to go, and he's out of the race 75 laps down. He's ended his night on lap 58 when he had that wreck under yellow, had some heavy front end impact, heavy front end damage. I believe might have busted his engine on that, so unfortunately not a good night for him at his home track in Dover. But Justin Michael starting to lose a bit of ground to Jamie Walker. Jamie Walker's now pulled that truck up within 2 seconds now, and that's definitely interesting because I believe Justin Michael has newer tires than Jamie Walker does.
Maybe Jamie Walker may have found some speed now that he's been running around a few drivers. Ashton Crowder, he was the first driver to pit during the first pit stops, or during the last round of pit stops. He is now on pit road and just now coming off. That number 27 is still damaged, so he's not been able to fix the damage. He's only had one caution to take advantage of it and did not get all the damage fixed. It's now down to 1.9 seconds, so about 0.3 of a second a lap Justin Michaels getting caught by the 17 of Jamie Walker.
And these guys are going to have to make at least one more stop on the night after this stop. So it's not quite done just yet for the strategists up on the pit box, or these guys doing the math behind the wheels. So it's definitely going to be interesting how these things play out. Jamie Walker now down to 1.7 behind Justin Michael. So Justin Michael's got to figure out what he's doing wrong here and step it up a little bit, because he's on fresher tires. So there's also the possibility that he is laying off a little bit and saving those tires, but he's running a lot wider through the middle of the corner than he usually does.
Well, that may be it, because he's trying to not turn the wheel as much and not scrub the tires as much on the entry to the corner, because that really hasn't been his problem over the past 2 runs. You know, just his tires wearing out before the rest of the field, and he ends up losing a lot of position. So he may be trying to do that and maybe try and make it to right before pit stops and give Jamie Walker a run for his money and then pit. You know, and then he may be able to make it to the end of the race. I'm not sure when these guys are going to come down pit road, but we're closing in on 50 laps to go.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be, I believe they're going to have to stop. I'm going to quickly take a look at Justin Michael's lap times here and see when he did hit the pit road last, but it's been a while since he's been down that down for service. I'm looking back here, and lap 60, I think, actually.
No, that looks like I'm looking
there
at
it is,
Jamie
lap
Walker's.
99. Sorry, I missed it there. Lap 99 he was the last time he was down. So about 40 laps on these tires now for Justin Michael. He's definitely got to be thinking about hitting that pit road soon.
Hey, Jamie Walker might be in a good position because he pitted at lap 103, so he's got a few more laps on that 87, and he's got newer tires. So Jamie Walker may have spoke too soon. He's in a good position for his first win.
Hey, we had it backwards on who pitted before who. I thought Justin Michael stuck out a little bit longer than Jamie Walker did, but actually he did short pit, so that's why he was up ahead of Jamie Walker, and that's also now why he's losing that ground. So Jamie Walker may have a chance to sneak that lead away before they come down the pits one more time. But I don't know if these guys are going to quite be able to stretch it out long enough to make this be their last stop.
1.2 seconds the gap. It's like a little bit close for comfort. The 69 and the 17 of Jamie Walker.
17 is now under pressure from Jason Jacoby, but that battle's going to be broken up by the 27 of Ashton Crowder, who's now on the fresh tires, getting right up onto the bumper of the 17 of Jamie Walker. He's going to want by soon, and that's doesn't look like Jamie's giving him much room. He's not wanting to give up the spot to the 1, but as the 27 takes that position, he's going to be forced up to the high line. So the number 1 now of Jason Jacoby's trying to fight his way down into the second position.
That's why he did not want to give up that position, because it meant he would have to move to the outside lane and give the 1 of Jason Jacoby the bottom, and that's exactly what happened. There goes the 1 of Jason Jacoby for the second spot, and that's a shame because he had that gap down to 0.9 seconds between him and Justin Michael. So maybe Jason Jacoby can get up on the wheel and try and run down that 87.
Jason Jacoby also pitted a few laps later than Jamie Walker did. He came down on lap 108.
109.
So
yeah, 108, 109.
He came back out 109. So it's he's going to be able to stretch just a bit longer, and he may actually be
Look
able
at this
to
gap.
make...
It's down to 6/10.
Yeah, he may be
87's
actually able
falling
to
off.
make this his last stop. Yeah, the 87, he's completely fallen off. He's going to be run over here soon by the number 1. The number 1's got a lot more speed, just right up on the bumper now. Oh, nearly hits him, so he's going to be able to make short work of the 87 coming down this back straight here probably.
Jason Jacoby isn't going to go for the lead. Doesn't move to the bottom this time by. Is he going to be able to get it coming off of turn number 4? That's been the passing corner.
Whoa.
Getting that run coming off. He's going to get to the bumper. There he goes. He's not going to have the momentum with him, so he's got one more lap to do it. Jason Jacoby to the bottom, running just a little bit lower line than the 87. That's what we've seen all night, and there he goes. He's got the momentum coming. Little connection issues on the 87, but now he is back, and now he's gone. Connection issues hard on the 87, and that's going to make it hard for Ashton Crowder because he cannot see that 87 anywhere.
Yeah, Jason Jacoby, he's backing out of it. He's getting some runs, but he's backing out of them because he doesn't know where the 87 is. And now he's going to be able to get to the inside. The 87 will drop down to second place, and now he's going to be in a bit of trouble here because Jamie Walker's got some speed. He's closed out that gap as well. So Jason Jacoby, your new race leader, Justin Michael, in a lot of trouble.
Justin Michael in a lot of trouble in more ways than one. It looks like the internet connection on that 87 is having some major issues with it.
Yeah, he needs to be careful. It's I just looked at his connection. It said his ping was up to 1,000 there for a second. It's now sitting at 833, and it's now starting to come down. So hopefully his little spike there is through, or else he could.
Looks like he's coming to pit road.
Yeah,
Looks like he's coming to pit road along with
so
Jamie
is
Walker.
Jamie Walker. So, Jamie's gonna brake real late there, nearly rear ends the 87 coming to pit road, and that's actually going to give a chance for Jamie Walker to actually make this pass in the pits. So it's going to be very important for these guys to hit their marks on this pit road. However, this is an easy pit road to do so because you're going so slow around here.
35 miles an hour, the pit road speed, and that means you lose a heck of a lot of time here on pit road. Jason Jacoby is still out on the racetrack. He bypassed the pit road last time by. We're going to have to see where Jamie Walker and Justin Michael come out. Right sides go up, and here comes Justin Michael coming out of the pits, but it's going to take him a while. It's like watching a steamroller roll down pit road because the pit road speed is that slow. They're going to race him coming off. Justin Michael's going to win the battle off of pit road between the two.
Jason Jacoby's going to come down pit road, and as he does so, I think the truck under looks like it had a lot of issues. I think Ricky Howell Jr. might have ran out of fuel coming to pit road, and he's now pulled it off to the side and taken a tow to the to his pit box. I think he didn't quite have enough fuel to make it down to his stall there.
Unfortunate for that 18, but when he was mired back in the 24th spot, a few 40 plus laps down. So not really a crusher of the night. Looks like Greg Mall coming to pit road just barely makes it to pit road, as I saw. He locked him up on entry. It's going to put Bobby Terrell in the number 94 into the top spot.
Since these guys were able to stretch this last run long enough, this will be their last pit stop, and that spells disaster for Ashton Crowder because he pit extremely early compared to the rest of these guys. So he's probably going to have to make one more stop. There. Then he came down on lap 133, came out on lap 134. So he does not have enough fuel in that tank to be able to make it to the end of the run. He's going to have to stop one more time, so I think that might take him out of the running now.
Justin Michael is your provisional leader because he is the first one on new tires, but Jamie Walker's got something to say about that. They were able to get around Jason Jacoby on the short pit. They're side by side for what is right now the 6th spot. As they go into turn number 3, that's going to settle down for just a few seconds. It's like Seth Foudy still on the racetrack along with Bobby Terrell. Bobby Terrell's actually pitted. Ashton Crowder is your leader. But yeah, that's going to spell doom for him because he's going to have to make another pit stop.
Yeah, it's definitely not the best way for a strategy to play out. But now the 87 to 17 encountering a bit of lap traffic that's not quite up to their speed on their fresh tires. So a little bit of a sketchy corner there. Oh, then one just behind them, nearly rear-ending a lap car coming down the front straightaway there. He had a ton of speed and left it to the absolute last moment for jumping out. He's trying to chase these guys down and not really caring who's in his way as he just goes flying by Michael Waters here. And Jamie Walker, he's now going to make a move to the inside. He's inside of the 87, but the 87 showing he does have that speed off the high line. He can make it work, so he's going to hold on to his position for one more lap.
And one thing, this has been allowed. Justin Michael, caution is out. Looks like the number 30, Louis Robinette, spins it coming off of turn number 2. Just a slow one-car spin. He hit the apron. We're going to get the replay up for you. A little bit of soft contact on the inside safer barrier. He's going to remain on the bottom side of the racetrack. Looks like nobody ended up hitting him as he turned around. So he's going to get it refired and get back going.
Yeah, it looks like he just tried to go a little too much to the inside on that corner, clip the apron, and turn himself around there. But this has completely just changed up our race.
Seth Foudy is the only driver on the lead lap.
He's going to get his pit stop, and everyone else is going to stay out. I think Seth Foudy's going to be sitting in the lead with fresher tires.
And Ashton Crowder is going to be
grinning. He's got to just be beaming underneath that helmet right now.
Oh my! Seth Foudy may have just pulled off the move of the race, and he didn't have to do anything.
That's the lone truck to be allowed down pit road now. The 22 is Seth Foudy, so he will be able to. Everyone that's going around him right now is a lap down. He was literally the only truck on the lead lap. So this is definitely going to be interesting once everyone's had their chance to pit and get waved around. I think the entire field's going to get waved around the pace car.
One driver on the lead lap, 9 drivers, 1 lap down. So those 9 drivers will get back on the lead lap. The last of those is Dwayne Dunn, your winner from Charlotte. He is in 10th. So it's going to be Seth Foudy, Ashton Crowder, Justin Michael, Jamie Walker, Jason Jacoby, Michael Waters, Greg Mall, Bobby Tyrrell, Christopher Hurlow, and Dwayne Dunn, rounding out your top 10. But this has put Seth Foudy in a great position because, and he's even got Ashton Crowder on the worst tires in the field to the outside of him, and he's got Jamie Walker on the outside. Justin Michael's being moved around the pace car. A little bit of a jumbled up running order. Is Justin Michael moving to the rear of the field?
Yeah, I think he might have gone around.
Oh, yeah, he was kind of slow toward the back of the field. Sorry.
I don't know, I'm confused right now. I'm glad this isn't my job to sort it all out. It's a good thing we have the sim to organize this all, because this is just a jumble of trucks here. A few of them are going to elect to go down pit road now, but there are a lot of trucks that are going to get waved around, so I'm not going to be too surprised if the stewards decide to extend this caution period to get this all sorted out. We saw it happen in the first caution, so
I'll tell you what, we're gonna give these guys an opportunity to sort everything out. Go to commercial one more time. We weren't planning on it, but it seems like every time we have to have green flag pit stops, a caution comes out in the middle of it. So we're gonna give these guys a chance to sort out the running order. And we'll be right back here for the USR Truck Series, live from Dover here on LSRTV. And just as we come back, they throw the caution on the field yet again. It is not sorted out. Even confusion in the broadcast booth. Don't know if we're on break or not. But we're going to get one more lap to sort everything out. It was a real cluster with Seth Foudy. He is your leader. He was the only car left on the lead lap.
Yeah, however, he's on his outside. He's got Justin Michael, who's showing some speed early on, but there is going to be interesting to see what happens here. Justin Michael is on older tires, though, because Seth Foudy not only gets the lead position, but also gets the freshest tires, because he was allowed to pit while everyone else had to stay out if they wanted to get their lap back. So I think the advantage is definitely in the favor of that 22, but we'll have to see if he has the speed to be able to hold his position.
Well, your advantage is on the front row of the starting field, because the 22 and the 87, they're on a row by themselves. Then you have the 55 and the 95. They are lap down trucks. You got to find your next lead lap drivers. Jamie Walker, 4 rows back. So these guys, they're all lined up on the inside row. this is going to get good. I mean, we've got two drivers basically racing for the win, and one of them has brand new tires.
Yeah, and we'll have to see how this shapes up, and we're going to get the chance soon as they come around turns 3 and 4 to collect the green flag for what might be the last time of the night.
Green flag back in the air, lap 162, a big stack up on the outside. 95 of Jeffrey Ford did not get going. It's going to stack up to 34. It looks like Crowder as well on the outside. But meanwhile, back up front, Seth Foudy in the 22 is out to a huge lead over Justin Michael. About 0.3 of a second between the two. Justin Michael gets a good run. Here he comes to the bottom. Battle for the lead here on lap number 163. Justin Michael shot out of a cannon off the restart coming off of turn number 2. Back to the lead goes the 87.
What a run he had off the corner, and Seth Foudy just let him go. So maybe Seth Foudy's wondering how long the 87 can keep this speed up. Maybe if he just gives a bit of pressure to the 87, he can cause that truck to burn off its tires, but they have enough time to toy around. Jamie Walker's got a number of lap cars in front of him, which separates the second and third place. So they're going to have some... Oh, we got a truck in the wall coming off of turn number 4, but it looks like everyone will get around them. So Justin Michael will stay in the lead, and he's going to get some bit more pressure from Seth Foudy.
Looks like that was Louis Robinette in the 30 yet again, just getting out of everybody's way and ended up scraping the wall coming off of turn number 4. But yeah, that pressure's coming back. Seth Foudy, he's got those tires warmed up. He's got the number 22 truck warmed up. Here he comes. 1 car length separates your top two. 1/10 of a second. Jamie Walker working his way through lap traffic. He's down to the back bumper of the 68 of Scott Simley. Only 2 more cars between them, but it's a 1.5 second gap.
Yeah, the 22 is directly on the bumper of the 87, so if he just keeps putting up this pressure, forcing the 87 to drive hard, he could cause that truck to burn off those tires. The 87 did pit a number of laps before Seth Foudy did. Seth Foudy does have the freshest tires on this field, so the advantage is in his favor as this race ticks by. However, this could get ruined by him if he waits too long and possibly either burns his own tires off as well, or a caution comes out. So he's definitely got to be careful. He's got to, see if he can toy with the 87 a little bit, but he needs to make a move soon.
To the back bumper, 2 Toyotas racing, coming off of turn number 2. Coming close to 30 laps to go, and this has been some of the best racing I've seen from Dover. Almost to the back bumper goes Seth Foudy on the 87, and Justin Michael coming into 3. They come off of 4 of 22, almost gets into the wall. If he did, it was close, but he's going to lose just a little bit of momentum holding it off the wall. Next time by, it'll be 30 laps to go, or excuse me, 2 times by. It'll be 30 laps to go. We're closing in on the finish. Jamie Walker back in 3rd, still dealing with lap traffic. He's having to deal with drivers like Christopher Hurlow, Scott Simley, and the 11 of Shane Hawthor right in front of them. Back up front, that lead still single file for the time being.
Oh, getting right up to him, nearly makes contact once again. I think the chrome horn might come into play. We say that this is kind of on the cusp between a short track and an intermediate track. Well, we might see some short track racing here as the laps remaining tick away, and that lap counter gets higher and higher. So the 22 can be right on the bumper of the 87, can't quite find that gap. We've seen the 87 run a very tight line throughout the night and getting some great runs off of the corner, which doesn't leave much space for Seth Foudy to go. He needs either the 87 to run wide through the corner, or possibly even get a bad launch off of the corner. And again, he's got a lot of speed through the middle of the corner, gets right up to the bumper of the 87, but can't quite get the launch off.
You know what, Kelly? I just thought about, Cisco pointed it out to us. I was just checking it out. The 87 did take the Lucky Dog free pass. He did not take the waiver, and he took the free pass. He was the first car off the lead lap, so he was able to pit and get his lap back. That's why he's racing so hard with the 22. They are on the same amount of tires. They're on the same wear. So we're seeing pure natural racing between these two drivers. That's the reason Justin Michael was able to start on the outside. I want to thank Cisco and thank the people in the chat. I was completely missed that.
And that also will explain why they're now 2.5 seconds ahead of Jamie Walker. So it's really just a race between these two drivers right now. The rest of these trucks just don't matter because they just don't have the tires to compete with these guys. And it's going to get interesting as we get even closer to that lap 200s. It's become crunch time now, and there really is no room for error between either of these drivers. One mistake could ruin your night. Like, all you have to do is just run wide in the corner. You might lose enough ground to not be able to pull yourself back out. And the 22, again, right up to the bumper of the 87. Oh, and there's a caution once again, so they will restack and
Caution is
refire all
out.
this.
Jamie Walker. Jamie Walker is up into the wall. He got spun coming off of turn number 4. Ashton Crowder is the one getting into the wall. Looks like Jamie Walker got spun by the 14 at Christopher Hurlow.
Yeah, it looks like I just don't know where Hurlow could have gone. Hurlow was right up against the white line, and Jamie just kind of came down on him, looks like.
Hurlow was the first driver 1 lap down. He was stuck between. Jamie Walker was actually at the tail, or he's at the beginning of the drivers off the lead lap. You had Hurlow, you had Ashton Crowder, but yeah, just Jamie Walker just came down the racetrack. He was expecting that 14 to not be there, and he ends up getting put in the outside wall. He's really not worse for wear. The person I'm worried about is Ashton Crowder in that 27. He took some hard damage.
Yeah, he was trying to avoid a possible wreck and slammed himself into the wall, and he's had a bit of damage to his truck throughout the night, so you have to wonder if he is going to come down and pit. Looks like the leaders, they're showing pit right now. You have to wonder who's going to follow them or if they're just going to fake it here. It doesn't look like anyone's going to follow them. No, they have committed. They will be going down. And it looks like
Jamie Walker as well.
Jamie Walker, but Ashton Crowder's going to stay out. Even with that damage and the worn tires, he's going to
Ashton Crowder is 1 lap down.
Is he 1 lap down? Oh, well, never mind that. I thought he was on the lead lap.
No, he pitted. He had the opportunity to take the wave around the last caution, but unfortunately as the first driver who pitted on the last round of pit stops, he did not have enough fuel, so he just decided to come down pit road.
But now so he is going to be on the lead lap now with worn tires. So this is going to be a very important pit stop. We'll have to see who's going to win that race off of pit road between either the 22 of Seth Foudy. And actually, the 87, he's going to get off ahead of Seth Foudy. Seth Foudy is going to be way behind, a few truck lengths behind the 87 coming off of pit road. So the 87 of Justin Michael, he will win the race off of pit road, and he will continue to be your race, or will regain the race lead. Oh, man, I'm all mixed up.
Closing in on 20 laps to go. Justin Michael would more than likely be your leader, barring anybody staying out. I'm not sure if anybody did stay out, though. You do have Jamie Walker. He was able to keep it going, and he is in third, and looks like he's going to take the actual cause of the caution. So I don't know what the rulebook says. He may have to do a drive-through or move to the rear of the field. Looks like he's moving to the rear of the field. There's an EOL for the driver who did cause the caution, so that will move Jason Jacoby up into the third spot, Greg Mall into the third spot. He was able to get around Jacoby on pit road. Greg Mall, he's in a good position maybe to go after his 3rd win of the year.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how this shapes up once everyone gets all stacked back up again. We're going to have a few more drivers back onto the lead lap that may stay out to get that wave around. So we'll have to see if it really also depends on what is judged by the race administrators. So we're going to have to see who's going to make the call of who's going to get who's at fault for that accident. I mean, we can say whatever we want, but it really all depends on what the actual league administrators deem who should have done what there. So we'll have to see. From our point of view, yeah, Jamie Walker might get sent to the back. However, from their point of view, he might still be in this race. So we'll have to just wait and see once they get this all figured out. Justin Michael, though, will, no matter what, be your race leader.
Well, I think once Jamie Walker, he claims the caution, it's pretty much a done deal. The admins cannot review it. I think they can only review it if nobody claims the caution. But waiting for these drivers to get the wave around the pace car. Looks like Christopher Hurlow is going to take it, as well as Ashton Crowder. And the laps are going to go out. Lights are going to go out this time by, hopefully.
Yeah, they have officially issued Jamie Walker that EOL. So Jamie Walker will be at the end of the line, and they're going to get that wave around now, I believe, but as we've seen throughout the night, they'll probably throw another, go one extra lap, throw another yellow out, just to make sure everyone's bunched back up in that field.
Lights are out atop the Ford Mustang pace car, so we will get the green flag. 9 drivers on the lead lap. 2 wave rounds, Ashton Crowder and Christopher Hurlow. they will get on the lead lap. We had a few more drivers take it to get one of their laps back. But this is going to be fun. We've got about 6 or 7 drivers with a shot to win this one. And look at Jamie Walker in 7th, having to line up at the back of the field. He is on good tires, and he's ready to go. Can he march his way through the field, get a couple of well-timed cautions, and get back to the lead? And there goes the caution.
Yeah, they are going to wave it off. Just make sure everyone's all bunched up. We've seen it multiple times throughout the night. This track is just so short that there's so many drivers getting waved around that they can't quite catch up and get all bunched up once again. So they'll take one extra lap, make sure everyone's all neat and tidy, and we'll have, I believe, 20 laps to go when we go green. So for these drivers, they have 20 laps to make something happen. But Justin Michael is sitting in that preferred position. We've seen the pole sitter get great jumps coming off of turn 4 going to that green flag, and the driver in second is usually just caught in the wind to just wait, because he's very difficult to start on that outside. You're kind of looking out that left window trying to make sure when that guy's going to jump, and for you it's all reactionary while also trying to drive your car in a straight line. It's very difficult, and they usually get jumped by the guys on the inside. So it's going to really come down to what Seth Foudy can do, and if he can judge when Justin Michael's going to go, or it could be an advantage to Greg Mall. He might be able to slip by him and take second place.
Coming off of turn number 2 to take the green flag, coming off of 4. Your updated running order: Seth Foudy in the lead, Justin Michael in second, Jason Jacoby in that 3rd spot. Greg Mall will line up in 4th, so a little bit of screwed up running order. The 12 is on the inside, the 1 is on the outside, maybe just a little bit of screw up as they came across the line. But the 5 spot of Michael Waters, Bobby Terrell in 6th, Herlo, Ashton Crowder, Jamie Walker, and Justin Kleber 1 lap down in the number 93. We'll round out your top 10. 20 laps to go for the 87 of Justin Michael. He's going to take off on the restart, and that's going to leave him all by himself up front. Coming off of turn number 4, can the 22 of Seth Foudy get clear? He can, and the 12's not going to force it. So going down into turn number 1, the 22 is free to pursue that number 88. Can he run him down?
However, he's got a lot of pressure from the 12. The 12 now looking to the inside, seeing if he can get a bit of a run, but doesn't quite have enough speed off the corner. And he's going to actually go a little wide to the corner. Into the corner, he came in a little too hot, and that's going to give a chance to the 1, but he's going to fight back. So Greg Mall on the outside, great run off of the corner, might be able to hold on to position, but he doesn't quite get clear. So still an advantage of the 1, who seems to have clipped the apron slightly going to the corner. So he's messed up as well, and these guys are still side by side now coming down the backstretch.
Battle for the 3rd spot going into 3. It's going to be solved here coming off of 4, I think, and that's going to allow the Bobby Terrell machine in the number 94 to get past, or is going to give him a shot at least to get around the number 12 of Greg Mall. As they go into turn number 1, the 1 of Jason Jacoby gets clear. Back up front, that gap looks like it's coming down. So the 22 of Seth Foudy, he is catching the 87 of Justin Michael bit by bit, and he's got enough time.
He's got enough time. He doesn't really have to worry about those drivers behind him. They're about a second behind now after their little battle there. So he's got some time. He just needs to calm himself down, run some clean laps, and actually that gap's starting to open up a bit there. It's now up to 0.6 of a second, so Justin Michael's running some quick laps now.
Justin Michael going after win number 3 on the 2017 season, and Seth Foudy trying to move up in points. Coming into tonight, Justin Michael 5th in points. Excuse me, I'm looking at the events. We'll cover that in just a second. I had the wrong thing pulled up, but Justin Michael is your leader. Another 10th being pulled out by Seth Foudy. That's 0.7 of a second between your top 2.
And behind them now, the battle for 4th really starting to shape up. The 12 is all over the bumper of the 94 of Bobby Terrell. So we're going to have to see if Greg Mall can get some of those positions back. He started this last run in 3rd place, but now he's all the way back to 5th after getting caught on the high side when the number 1 decided to sneak up underneath him. So Greg Mall really has to just recompose himself, find a line, and find a gap around the 94.
All right, little updated points. Update on your points. Justin Michael coming into the night 28 points back from Jamie Walker. He's going to pick up a few points if he maintains his position, because Jamie Walker is running in 9th, and he's going to pick up a ton of points on Aaron Bennett, who is 2nd to last. Seth Foudy is running in 8th in points, 48. He was tied for 48th in 48 points back with Robert Gillenwater in the number 4 in that 7th spot technically.
So it definitely would be a big night for Justin Michael if he is able to hold on and take this win. However, now we have to see if he can keep his speed up. Seth Foudy running a 1/10 of a second faster than him that time around, so Justin Michael might have used up all his speed on that first little stint, or maybe Seth Foudy has recomposed himself and got himself back onto his line. We'll have to see this time around. Actually, Seth Foudy losing a bit of ground again to Justin Michael, so it definitely the advantage is in Justin Michael's favor. They are 12 laps to go this time around.
At this point, Seth Foudy just has to keep his head down, get behind the steering wheel, and drive that race truck. That's all he can do because he's got a big gap behind him to Jason Jacoby, who is in third. Jason Jacoby actually having a very good run in that number 1 machine. But that gap goes out by another 1/2 a tenth that time by. So just Seth Foudy if Seth Foudy's going to catch him, it has to be soon. He's going to have to wait for maybe a mistake by Justin Michael, either hitting the wall, but we've seen crazier stuff happen, and it involved that number 87. Of course, we saw at Phoenix in a little bit of trouble with Ashton Crowder in the 27, and they ended up spinning each other out, and Aaron Bennett went by technically for the win, but they ended up reversing it and giving the win to the 87. But that gap is coming down yet again. Seth Foudy in the number 22. He caught him by 1/2 a second last time by.
He's only got coming now down to 9 laps to go, so he really has to gain a lot of time to be able to challenge for the lead. But again, just about half of a tenth there, he was able to chop down on that lead. So he may be getting some speed now. But Jason Jacoby still sitting back there. He's actually starting to find himself a bit of a pace and he's starting to close up on Seth Foudy a little bit.
See what the gap is this time by, closing in on 5 laps to go. The gap remains exactly the same. 7/10 of a second exactly between the top 2 drivers. That gap is consistently for the past 2 laps, so we're lap 193 closing in on the finish. Jason Jacoby in third. He is not under fire from Bobby Terrell. It's all top 5. They're all singled out. May as well throw in Michael Waters in there as well in 6th. He's by himself 6 seconds back. Seth Foudy lost a lot of time that time by. He lost 2 whole tenths. It's now down to 9/10 of a second between the top 2.
This right now is really just Justin Michael's race. I mean, win or lose, it all comes down to him at this point. However, he is starting to catch some lap traffic here, so this could possibly throw a wrench in things if he can't get by these guys. But the lap traffic should move out of the way for him. But we've seen him a couple times tonight how lap traffic has caused some incidents.
The gap now fluctuating. They're going to come to 5 to go this time by. The 87 splits the lap traffic as a 94. Jeffrey Ford gets into the outside wall. He's going to be slow on that outside lane, but he's going to get it back under speed. Here they come by the line this time by 8/10 of a second, so it's fluctuating, going back and forth between 9, 8, and 7/10 of a second. But at this rate, it's not going to be enough. 4 laps to go this time by. As you said, yeah, 4.5 laps to go, and it's going to be 4 this time by. It's not going to happen. It's going to have to take it's going to have to take a mistake from Justin Michael in that number 87 to allow that 22 to catch him.
Seth Foudy again chopping off a 10th, but a 10th a lap isn't enough. We've got 4 to go, and he's still got another 7/10 to go to take away. But Jason Jacoby actually might have a chance to challenge for second place. He's now down to just about 4/10 back of Seth Foudy, so he's been quietly whittling away at that little gap there. So we've seen Jason Jacoby up at the front of the field a few times tonight, so he might be able to, in these closing laps, be able to sneak out a second place finish out of this, as we now are down to 2.5 laps to go.
Going to be 2 laps to go this time by. He caught him by 2/10 last time by. So 6/10 of a second between your top 2, but that gap is not going to be enough. Justin Michael popsicle sticks in the air, lap number 199. It's down by another 2/10. It may get close before we get to the end of this one. Coming off of turn number 2, 4/10 between them, about 4 car lengths between your top 2.
But again, they've got some lap traffic, and the number 1 is right on getting to the bumper, but he kind of makes a mistake there, and looks like the gap has closed up even more. It might even be just about 2/10. It looks like the 22 might have scraped the wall slightly there. 3/10 of a lap, or 3/10 of a second, white flag in the air, so it has come down to this. Justin Michael has a good, healthy lead, but it might be just enough to get him a win.
Here they come into turn number 3. 87 of Justin Michael. He's got enough of a gap. It got close, but it's not enough. Coming off of turn number 4, win number 3 on the year. At a round number 10, Justin Michael wins at Dover.
And we also saw a great run by the number 1 there, trying to get around the 22. Had to push it as hard as he could off the corner. However, he gave it just a little too much gas and scraped the wall, but he will be able to come home in third. Seth Fody will take this second place.
One of the best races I've seen at Dover, and one of the cleanest races, really. We only had a few cautions. That's some good racing. The 87 of Justin Michael is going to burn it down on the front straightaway. While he does that, we're going to gather up the rest of your top 3 and catch up with him in victory lane. This has been the Visit Delaware 200, live on LSRTV. We'll be right back with your winner.
This is Imola. Once part of the Formula One World Championship calendar, this historical track, named after Enzo and Dino Ferrari, hails from north-central Italy and has been subject to numerous revisions since it was founded in 1953. From 1953 to 1972, the track went uninterrupted from Ravazza all the way to the infamous Tamburello corner, notorious for its bumpy surface and having a dangerously small amount of room between the track and the concrete wall, as the Santerno River runs directly behind it. From 1972 to 1974, 2 chicanes were added in an effort to slow drivers down: the Variante Bassa, lower chicane, and Variante Alta, higher chicane, situated at the top of the hill leading down to Ravazza, creating the hardest braking point on the track. In 1980, Imola made its debut in the Formula One Grand Prix, after organizers were engaged in a dispute with Monza. In 1981, Imola remained in the F1 circuit as the San Marino Grand Prix. The circuit was subject to constant safety concerns even after adding numerous chicanes. Tamburello Corner was especially dangerous, where a car crashed into the wall in 1987 and another in 1989. The tragic weekend of the 1994 San Marino Grand Prix shocked the motor racing world. Rubens Barrichello would survive a serious crash at Variante Bassa, but sadly, both Roland Ratzenberger and Ayrton Senna lost their lives that weekend. So in 1995, major revisions were made to the track layout. Tamburello Corner, previously taken flat out, was converted into a 4th gear left-right sweeper, and a gravel trap was added outside the corner. Villeneuve Corner was also made a 4th gear sweeper with a gravel trap. In an attempt to retain some of the quickness and character of the old circuit, the chicane at Acqua Minerale was eliminated. Variante Bassa was also eventually removed to make way for a more modernized, longer pit lane. After 2006, Imola was dropped from the Formula One World Championship due to lack of funds. Whether Imola will once again be a part of the Formula One World Championship is unknown. Today, Imola is home to the annual 4 Hours of Imola, part of the European Le Mans series. It remains a popular bike racing circuit and has implemented minor changes over the years to be used solely for motorbike events. Imola is an important track in motor racing history. It's a track that yearns to be back in the spotlight.
Welcome back to Dover International Speedway, the conclusion of the Visit Delaware 200 for the USR Truck Series. Justin Michael walks away with your victory, and we're going to run through your finishing order. Seth Foudy comes home in the second spot. He almost got to his rear bumper, but it wasn't enough. Jason Jacoby comes home in third. Bobby Terrell comes home in fourth. Greg Mall finishes up the night in a very respectable fifth position. Michael Waters makes a good recovery up from the 18th spot now to sixth. Jamie Walker in 7th, Christopher Hurlow in 8th, Ashton Crowder in 9th, and Justin Kleber rounds out your top 10 one lap down.
In 11th, 2 laps down, is Scott Simley. 12th, we see Dwayne Dunn. Michael Waite is in 13th. 14th goes Lewis Robinette. 15th to Shane Hawther. Scott Howell will finish in 16th. 17th to Ralph Vandervorst. 18th to Jeffrey Ford. 19th to Randy Tesser. And rounding out the top 20 is Stephen Herring.
George Hendrickson, the 34, comes home in 21st. 22nd goes to Riley Thompson in the 56. Michael Warren in 23rd. Robert Gillenwater, Ricky Howell Jr., Aaron Bennett with a tough night comes home in 26th. Scott Formosa rounds out your field 142 laps down in 27th. Well, after 200 laps, I'm going to catch up here in victory lane with the number 87 of Justin Michael. Justin, congratulations on win number 3 on the year.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It was definitely a good win, and this is a fun track.
Now, it had to get pretty crazy there because we saw Jamie Walker stay out the first green flag pit stops, and a caution comes out in the middle of it, traps a lot of you a lap down, and then Aaron Bennett, your toughest competition all night, gets taken out in a wreck under the caution. And then, through the factors, is there any point in the race where you knew you had a really good chance of winning?
I mean, maybe the last restart, we wrecked in qualifying, so we had to start in the back, and I just kept burning up my tires trying to drive through the field, and we got caught a lap down under the green flag pit stops and the yellow coming out in the middle of it. So we were lucky and got the lucky dog the next caution, and then green flag pit stops come out again and cause a yellow, and Seth has the field a lap down at that point. I don't know how I got the lucky dog on that one, but it was definitely a lucky night, that's for sure.
Yeah, Justin, you walk away with the victory, and you had to think with Seth Foudy catching you, it was, I pointed out, it was kind of fluctuating between he was catching you, he was pulling away, and when he started catching you there at the end, did you start getting just a little bit nervous?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, those last 5 laps, they were coming like a freight train, and I mean, after that race, my hands were shaking because I was trying to concentrate. I was telling lap cars to get out of my way because I didn't want to screw up my entry or exit in the turns. And I don't know, that truck would have been really, really wide if the race would have went another lap or two. But it would have been fun, that's for sure.
All right, Justin, congratulations. Final thoughts, final thanks, I should say, to anybody on your team, any sponsors. I know you got a pretty truck there. I know you've mentioned them a couple times this season. Why don't you thank them again?
Oh, yeah, definitely. All the guys, I like to run the AR15.com logos on my truck. They always supporting the Second Amendment. And all the guys watching on my stream, twitch.tv/SimTVNation, definitely had some good viewers tonight. And always like to have the interactive chat. And just like to thank everybody for racing me clean. And get them next week.
All right, Justin, yet again, congratulations on win number 3, and maybe go for 4 in Pocono.
Thanks, Gabe.
All right, that was Justin Michael, your winner. And now, Kelly, you've caught up with our second place finisher down on pit road.
Yeah, I'm down here with Seth Foudy, driving the number 22. Seth, that was definitely an interesting race. Congratulations on making it up to second place.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Man, what the heck? That track is so technical. It's a tough track without a doubt. But it was a lot of fun for sure. I'm actually pretty pumped about a second place here tonight.
All right, well, I've got to ask, when we had that caution come out and you were the only driver on the lead lap, what were you thinking at that moment?
Well, to be honest with you, I was just talking to Jacoby when we got out of the trucks there. To be honest with you, the whole beginning of this race, I was a nervous wreck. I was so worried about how to drive the truck, and I was driving it wrong all race long. I was braking so hard, it was just killing my momentum. So the next thing I was going to do was I just figured I'll just stay out. So I just stayed out real long, and I knew if I pitted, it was going to screw me. So I'm like, man, I'm hoping to catch these guys a lap down. So I'm just going to stay out as long as this truck will go. And I had like another 9 laps I was going to go, and I was just hoping and praying that somebody was going to choke and dump it in the fence or something. And sure enough, a caution came out. And when it did, man, I was over here. I was over here. My wife looked over at me and she's like, "What in the world?" I was pumped.
Yeah, we were having a good chuckle up in the booth and we realized there was only one driver left. So, as you said, it was a very difficult track to manage tonight. You find it got easier as it went on and the tires wore out, or was it just easier as it went on because you're just getting a bit more experience with the track?
Well, I practiced really hard here this week. Definitely with the rubber down on the track, it was definitely it was sticky, and I felt like I could get into the throttle a lot more. But like I said, early on, I guess with everybody around and stuff like that, I just kind of got real nervous, and I was really braking hard, and I just wasn't driving it the way I should have been. And literally, it wasn't until Justin Michaels passed me there when I led the start there, when he passed me to take the lead, and then I was on his bumper. Literally, I just changed everything. It was like it all just came back to me. And I wasn't braking going into the turns. I was just running it down there, running it hard, and the only time I would actually hit the brakes at all was whenever I was right on his back bumper. So it felt so good to do that, and I felt like all that practice time finally came into play once I was able to get up there and do it, man. It was I'm so excited right now. I'm kind of shaking a little bit.
All right, there was a huge gap at one point around that last little run, but you dropped it down to only 2/10 right before the line. 2 more laps, would you have them?
I would like to say that I would have. I definitely think that by that point, I think tire fall off, and I know he was feeling the pressure and things like that. I would like to say that I would have had him, but it's so hard to pass here. It really is. I mean, a guy has really got to be falling off pretty dang hard, or literally screw up in order to get a good pass here. So I feel like track position is really important here, and to be out there. I don't know if I really would have pressured him too hard. I might have tried to give him a little bump there if I'd have got up to him. But golly, how about Jason Jacoby, man, coming up behind me like that? I think if we'd have had another couple of laps, I think he might have been able to win this thing.
Yeah, it would have definitely been a very interesting race if we had just a couple more laps with the 3 of you. Well, I'm going to give you a chance with an open mic here to give you a shout out or thank you to whoever you wish to at this moment.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Definitely want to give a shout out to you guys, LSRTV. You guys do a phenomenal job. The Drill Spill, my main sponsor. Want to give them a shout out. Want to thank those guys for letting me put the sponsor on the truck and run it. Definitely proud to have it up in the front with the sponsor on there. USR, United Sim Racing, such an excellent league. A lot of good guys. A heck of a lot of competition in here. And it's so much fun. I want to thank my family for letting me take the time throughout the week and put practices in, and that's pretty much it, guys. I do appreciate everything here.
All right, well, congratulations on that second place finish. We will see you next week at Pocono.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you.
Right now, I'm going to send it back to Gabe Wood, who I believe has caught up with our third place finisher.
Yep, I've walked from victory lane, and I've caught up with a guy who gets his best career finish on the year. Jason Jacoby, you get your first top 5. Congratulations on third.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. It's great to finish third here. Had a fun race, racing guys like Justin and Seth and a lot of other guys throughout the night. Very clean racing here in USR, so they do a great job. Huge thanks to the admins and especially my sponsor, Domino's. Right now it's Saturday night, so usually your Domino's are open later. And I know right now I can go get 2 or more medium 2-topping pizzas for $5.99 each, along with some other stuff for $5.99, as long as I order at least 2 or more. So if you guys are up and after this race, like to head out to Domino's, that would be really appreciated.
I might be.
Well, Jason, we give you an opportunity to shout out sponsors after the interview, but
Yes, sir.
but you end up coming home in third. We asked Seth Fatty the same question. You had a pretty decent car all night. I mean, you were able to actually pass for the lead during a round of green flag pit stops after I believe it was Jamie Walker had a little bit of issues, maybe some worn out tires, but you had a fast car. Do you think if you got around Seth Foudy, could you have gotten to the back bumper of Justin Michael with a few extra laps?
Oh, good question, man. My passing game wasn't as strong. Like I try to get to guys' bumpers, make it a little more exciting. But when I do that, I kind of sacrifice. What I should probably do is back off a little more in the corner and then gas it off and try to get a run inside. But really, I was just getting onto their bumpers. And if I would pass correctly, then yeah, for sure, I might have had a shot if there were a few extra laps. There's no doubt that if we had just a couple extra laps, if I had gotten by Seth, that would have slowed me down and probably wouldn't have gotten to get to Justin or get by him. But yeah, that's for sure.
Well, Jason, congratulations on third. Hopefully you can pack up the truck, head to Pocono, and get yourself a win.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, guys, and everyone for watching. I appreciate y'all.
Jason Jacoby, your third place finisher. Kelly, I'm going to send it up to you for final thoughts.
It was definitely an interesting race we had tonight. Didn't really play out exactly like I thought. It was just pretty much a textbook Dover race. You can't really predict what's going to happen here. You can try as much as you want, but it'll give you something different every time, as we saw, and it did end up being very exciting at the end. I kind of almost wish we could have had maybe a 205 lap race, because it would have been interesting to see a three-way battle between Justin Michaels, Seth Foudy, and Jason Jacoby.
Yeah, we can always think about what could happen, but I mean, I have to say, this is starting to become a tradition for the USR series. You know, we sometimes have leagues, they go through bits of, they get new members and they start having races with a lot of wrecks. Here at USR, every race I've been a part of, we've had a minimum about 3 or 4 cautions during a 200-lap event. I mean, it's getting to some really good racing here, and if they have some open spots for either this year or next year, if you were considering getting a league, I would hop on here because it is some good, clean racing.
Yeah, it's definitely some exciting racing through from the USR guys. They're very clean drivers, respectful drivers, and however, if you do end up racing these guys, be prepared for some serious competition because they are some fast drivers as well.
That they are, and they're going to be able to showcase that next week at Pocono. There at the Tricky Triangle, we go from the Monster to the Triangle, but you're going to catch it here all on LSRTV. This has been the USR Truck Series and the Visit Delaware 200 for the BNC Lawnscaping USR Truck Series live from Dover. On behalf of everybody, me, Gabriel Wood, Kelly Dahl, and Cisco Scaramuza down in the production holler, getting everything you see to you tonight, the picture. I want to thank you for joining us, and join us next week at Pocono. Good night.